Hello, thanks for watching. Andy here with a quick look at the astrology. Today is Saturday the 2nd of June 2018 and we'll have a quick look at Sunday as well because it is the weekend. Let's have a look at the weekend astrology then. The news today is the moon is going to enter Aquarius, but that is not till much later in UK time. So it's actually 23:06 in UK time, 6 minutes past 11 tonight. So that is 15:06 Pacific, or on the west side of Canada, 18:06 Eastern part of the United States and Canada, and over here in UK, I'll say it again, 6 minutes past 11 tonight, the moon enters Aquarius. Things change, I feel, in quite a positive way actually, because we've had the Capricorn moon, and when the moon is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the main influence, we find a lot of self-criticism actually. Others criticise each other, that is true, but we find a fair bit of self-criticism as well, wondering if we're actually going to get anywhere with our plans. Perhaps, we've got a long-term goal and in the short term it hasn't gone too well. Under the Capricorn kind of influence, we might start thinking about giving up because there's a certain amount of hopelessness around that, particularly at the moment because Saturn is retrograde in Capricorn, and Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. Saturn has a great deal to do with fears and insight into fears, and of course when we first start getting insight into our fears, which is a very positive thing actually because it's part of moving forward, when we first get that insight it's quite disheartening really, because it's all the things that we fear, that we're not comfortable with, that we don't think are actually going to help. But it's worth keeping moving. It's always worth keeping moving because there's always another day. That's simple. Now, sooner or later we come to the end, there's no doubt about that, but we don't necessarily have to solve every problem and sort absolutely everything out in this life. We have many lives, we have eternity to get it right, which, my friends, is why the laughing Buddha is laughing all the time. Also today, apogee or apogee comes in at 17:34 UK time. So let me see, that's 11:34 Pacific, 2:34 p.m. Eastern, and again 17:34 here in UK. Apogee or apogee is when the moon is as far away from the Earth as she gets on her pattern of cycles. The opposite of that is perigee or perigee, when she's right on the perimeter of the Earth. So she's far away, but there is still quite a lot of energy because we're not far off full moon. That was only on the 29th of May, 3 days ago. Now we're moving towards the 6th of June when third quarter comes, and that's when she's halfway down. So it's the waning cycle, the energy is going down, but right now today, Saturday the 2nd of June, she is still 87.9% full, so very full, very powerful, and just because she's at the opposite end of the universe doesn't mean she doesn't have any influence. So let's have a look at what she's aligned with at the moment. Right, well, as I actually speak, the moon is void in Capricorn, and that is going to be the case nearly all through today in UK time at least, certainly in the morning and up till early afternoon in the United States. It's the void, of course, between Capricorn and Aquarius. Now, someone mentioned the other day, surely a void, of course, is it's not either the influence of either planet, and that's very true. It's very simply, it's where it comes, it's like, say, the day before your birthday and the day after your birthday might have some significance around the fact that it's your birthday. And so it is with astrology. We are actually moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. Things are subject to change, formalities get you nowhere, and there's not a lot of point in looking for new business. Well, that is just about always the case during a void, of course. It's a great time for consolidation, for going over what you've done before. But as I say, as we're coming out of Capricorn, particularly this kind of void, we have been very self-critical. So it's quite important to see things as going forward, because they are going forward and things will improve. The Sun at this moment is square Neptune. That'll be the case right through today. More problem with leadership and decision making. We may become aware of scandals, pretty much as I said yesterday. Artistic, religious kind of arguments can come up as well, and they could get really quite difficult today. So try and keep it at the level of banter if you get drawn into any kind of arguments like that. Mercury itself is conjunct to the Sun at the moment. Mercury isn't retrograde. Actually, that's not till kind of the end of July, really. Excuse me, I am a little hoarse this morning after lighting a big fire last night outside, which was wonderful. I'm also a bit cold because it was nice and hot last night, but there you go. But when Mercury is conjuncting the Sun, we may see an important announcement. It's very difficult to call anything with Mercury, even though it isn't retrograde at the moment. It's the messenger of the gods, and it sends us some weird ones every now and again. Spaceweather.com, the solar wind speed is up at 634 kilometers a second. The proton density is down at 4.8. We're not really looking at a huge likelihood of geomagnetic storms today, but there is still a lot of solar wind flowing from the face of the coronal hole in the face of the Sun towards our planet. So we do expect some buffeting kind of next week, and it always happens. And when I speak of this buffeting, it's a kind of electromagnetic thing which goes on in the ionosphere. It can make things a bit headachy, you know, just make things feel a little bit awkward, stop things flowing nicely. Okay, but things are going to flow nicely, okay? Because whatever gets thrown at us, we are just going to keep smiling. That's what we've really got to do. YouTube seems to be absolutely knackering everything I try and do at the moment. And I bet there's zillions of YouTubers like me who are getting fed up with all the strange changes and moving goalposts. But we keep smiling, we keep going, because I've been here with websites before. It sorts itself out. And as long as you just keep going, you get there in the end. And that, my friends, is the truth. Anything you're doing. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching. I hope your weekend is brilliant. Really appreciate everyone who likes and subscribes. Leave me a comment if you want, and we will share the journey. Meanwhile, I will be back tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good day.